okay? Are you going to be okay? Love you.
I love you.
Courtney and I have been friends now for 21 years, which seems like forever since it's almost been my entire life. And I've realized that there's kind of a theme to this wedding, that the people in this wedding, mostly sitting at that table, are kind of weird. So it's not surprising that growing up, Courtney and I had some pretty weird traditions. For example, my brother Clint, Courtney, and myself, every winter, used to fill up hot mixing bowls of water. We would run around my house barefoot in the snow. You might have read this on the program, actually. And we'd come back into my house, and we would be screaming in pain, dunking our feet in the water, spilling water everywhere. So I would like to take this time to apologize to my mom. I'm sorry that was so annoying for you. Another funny tradition that we had. Yes, this first snowfall. Another tradition we had was that every time that we were out in the neighborhood, if we saw a car that drove by, we had to stop and freeze. This, we were convinced. I'm sorry. This, we were convinced, simulated a statue to trick potential kidnappers. Everyone was suspect. And most importantly, every year around this time, Courtney and I did our big back-to-school shopping trip at the Mall of America. Now, on one of these shopping trips, I believe I was in 5th grade, you were in 4th grade, we had a really important conversation. The topic of marriage came up, and Courtney said, "Kelsey, we should marry brothers." And I said, "Courtney, we have to marry twin brothers." So we went on with the conversation and decided not only were we going to marry twin brothers. Do you remember this?
I totally do.
We were going to live next door to each other. But not only were we going to live next door to each other, we were going to have a skyway between our two houses. Her house would, of course, be very country and pretty. And mine would be modern and unusual. Now, Court, I know this plan isn't going to happen anymore, but I've got to say, that would have been so weird. So weird. But I could go on. I could tell you about how my best friend is unbelievably thoughtful. She's caring and she's loyal. Or how Brady is hilarious, fun-loving, and extremely generous. Or I could go into how as a couple, they constantly giggle. They help each other out, and they genuinely love being around one another. I really could go on forever, but I won't. Instead, I want to tell you a story about how these two fell in love. And I'd like to do so in song. Keep in mind, I'm not a singer, and I'm going to do this a cappella. Here's a story of a man named Brady who had transferred to St. Thomas University. He lived with Nick Michelson in a little duplex, but they were all alone. Then one day Courtney came in town to visit me, and we went to a bar called Tiffany's. Brady and Courtney ended up making out on the dance floor. The rest is history. Court and Brady, they just got married.